Have you ever been scrolling through Tumblr or Pinterest or Instagram and seen a gorgeous aesthetic mood board that someone else has made? Have you ever thought, wow, I'd want to make one of those for my novel, character, or even for myself and my aesthetic? Well, hello friends, my name is Katie, and today I'm going to be giving you a step-by-step guide to creating aesthetic mood boards. I've been making mood boards for about 3 years now, and even took a graphic design related course in university. Of course, these aren't perfect, and I'm still learning, I'm all self-taught, but if you have literally no idea where to start, or even what programs to use to make them, I'm going to be showing you all of my tips and tricks. So let's get started. My first step is always coming up with a concept. This can just be meditating on a character or a novel you've already created, or thinking about the feelings that come with a specific vibe. This can be actually brainstorming specific ideas that relate to a prompt or idea. In this particular video, to show you an example of my workflow and process, I'll be working on aesthetics for my two main POV characters in my self-indulgent vampire novel. Here are a few things to think about if you're stuck on the brainstorming phase. What colors come to mind when you think about certain characters or ideas? Do you find that you describe the character or scenery in a certain color or hue? Or if you can't think of a specific color, does it feel more light and pastel or dark and moody? This can help inform what color palette you want to have. Is there specific imagery you're drawn to? Flowers, skyscrapers, blood, anything really. For my novel, The Wrath King, I used a lot of religious imagery, blacks and reds, jewelry, and opulence, but also blood and war symbols. For my character Nola's mood board, I included photos of a snake because she has a snake tattoo, bloodied lips and her dark hair because it physically reminded me of her, a bloodied hand on a sword because of her status as a warrior and a fighter, and two quotes that describe her character arc to a T. Lastly, if you still can't think of anything, look at other mood boards that other people have made. What draws them to you as opposed to others? What do you like? What don't you like? What does this collection of images say to you? This can give you an idea of perhaps what you're looking for or where to start and where to jump off of. So the second step is going to be gathering your images. I recommend that you don't just grab random photos and slap them together. My personal favorite method is making a Pinterest board. This is the easiest way to gather your images into one place and see them as a whole. This, for example, is my Wrath King Pinterest board. As you can see, I have a collection of photos, pictures that inspired the aesthetic of my novel, and character face claims. You'll see lots of blacks and reds with threads of gold. Blood magic, religion, and war are prevalent elements, so they feature quite heavily too. This Pinterest board is for a much less fleshed out project, so the aesthetic isn't nearly as defined as the Wrath. There are a few key features like oranges and blues, a more contemporary style with skyscrapers and city lines mixed with old-fashioned churches. It isn't much, but it's a starting point. Another website I suggest if you're uncomfortable using Pinterest is Unsplash. It is an excellent website for finding free images that you can use. I just started using Unsplash, and you can make collections, which is basically the same thing as boards on Pinterest. Their photos are super high resolution, and it is very user-friendly. I haven't used it very long, so I don't have a big stock of images that I like, but I did scroll through it, and I do have a couple boards made for some of my projects. The simplest mood board to create is one like this. It can be either vertical or horizontal, and it's usually an arrangement of even numbered images, like 6, 8, 10, you want to go that many. There are other types and styles that I can make separate videos on, but for today, I'm going to keep it super simple. So let's make these mood boards. First, I have gathered my images. Now, a quick tip for Pinterest. If you like a specific image and want more like it, you can click on the image that you like and scroll down to find images visually similar to the one you really liked. It's the way the algorithm works, which is pretty cool, huh? Alright. Time for step 3. Let's put this bitch together. I use PixArt to put all of my photos together. It's a free app you can download onto your iPad or iPhone. I'm unsure if it's available for Android. It probably is. I've used Paint in the past, which I only stopped using because it's a little more finicky to get the pictures correctly lined up, but it also works too. Most of my tips are to play around with the look of how the photos go together. Put them in different places, mess around. Once you're happy with the layout, my final step before posting is Lightroom. If you don't have Adobe, you can actually use the effects that are in PixArt, but if you're not using that, Raw Therapy or PicMonkey are also good alternatives. The features and precision will be more limited, but the whole purpose of this step is more about creating a cohesive look, which you can make with any app that has overlays. I would also maybe say this step is optional. I don't always use Lightroom, but I personally like the way it gives me maximum control over how the mood board is edited. Since the photos you use likely aren't from the same photographer and aren't edited the same, they might look a little disjointed in their colors. Some may be too bright or too shadowy. The simplest option is just to pick a preset and use that. It'll uniformly affect all the photos in the collage. Or you can go in it and mess around with the settings if you want. This is all trial and error and thinking about what looks good to you and what fits your vibe and vision. For me, personally, mood board making is very feel-based. Trust your intuition and play around. I'm not the best mood board maker there ever was, but I like to play with the way things look and learn just by doing. My biggest tip is to just have fun with the process and enjoy making it. If you realize through making one that you aren't having fun, don't make them, or try again, or start over, or scrap the entire thing. And so this is my final product. I really enjoyed making these. I feel like they really capture the essence of my characters. So I hope this guide helped you get an idea of how I create my mood boards, and if you want to make them, you will hopefully now have a place to start. I'd really love if you linked your mood boards down below if you make one, or DM me on Instagram or Tumblr if you make mood boards. I love finding new ones, and I love looking at your art and seeing what you've made, even if you didn't make them from my tips in this video. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I wish you the best of luck. Bye!